Shalom. Welcome back to Sidelined NFL Week 15. Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish listeners. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment while you're lighting the menorah this Hanukkah season. All right, let's get into our three biggest takeaways from this week of NFL games. My number one takeaway is Matt Ryan is the biggest choker in NFL history. What this man has been able to accomplish is historic in a bad sense. He blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl in the third quarter to Tom Brady. If that wasn't bad enough, the Colts were up 33-0, and they lost on Saturday to the Minnesota Vikings in overtime. You have to try and lose by 33 points with a 33-point lead. That has never been done before. It's historic, and he just looks like a fucking choker. He's one of these pencil neck fucking BC, no balls, pussy quarterbacks. He stinks. The Colts stink. And frankly, I don't like Matt Ryan. He's a fucking statue back there. He has no balls. I don't care that your defense let you down. You're the quarterback. You take responsibility. It's on you. Matt Ryan sucks. My number two takeaway is Pat's season is over. It's been over, but now it's officially over. They had one of the worst losses I've ever seen in my entire life. That was a terrible way to lose a football game. I think it was worse than the Miami Miracle, because at least there was a good team that year, and the Patriots at least won the Super Bowl that year. This team's going nowhere. This team's not going to make the playoffs. They're falling apart. You can see it. You can hear it. You feel it. They're done. Just Mac Jones getting stiff-armed by Chandler Jones, I think, said it all. That play was terrible. Their season's over. I blame Belichick. We'll get into it with Sam. Not happy with the Pats. My number three takeaway, there are a lot of stupid teams this year. A lot of stupidity go around the NFL. The Patriots are stupid. They lost in historic fashion to the Raiders. The Cowboys are stupid. They blew a 17-point lead. Dak Prescott threw a pick six to end the game. The Texans are stupid. They actually played the Chiefs really tough, fumbled at the end of the game, blew it. The Colts are stupid. Fuck, the Vikings are stupid too. You go down 33 points for the Colts. A lot of stupid teams this year. It makes me question the league. I think it's a down year in terms of quality NFL teams. I think a lot of people thought there was going to be a ton of like really good teams contending, like the Broncos, the Raiders. A lot more stupid teams than we think, and I just think it's a reflection on the league as a whole. And those are my three takeaways from this week. Let's bring in everyone's favorite guest, Sam Reed. Sam, how you doing?
I'm good, Matt.
Sam, you having a happy Hanukkah?
Yeah, absolutely.
You like the menorah last night?
Well, I'm actually not Jewish, but
okay.
Thanks.
All right. Our first game to get into, Sam. Sam, we're going to talk about Niners, Seahawks. This was a Thursday night football game. The 49ers won 21-13 over Seattle. Brock Purdy looked really good. He had a really good game. See, on the other end, Seattle's slipping. Do you think Seattle has enough to still make the playoffs? And do you think Brock Purdy can lead the Niners to the promised land?
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy can certainly lead the 49ers to the promised land. I got a couple of stats as to why that is.
Let's hear it.
So over their last 7 games, the 49ers defense are giving up 11 points per game, which is 77 points total in those 7 games. The offense has been putting up nearly 28 points per game in those games. So they're winning these games by a pretty decent margin, like 2 touchdowns and a field goal. Everything seems to be clicking on both sides of the ball. Christian McCaffrey has looked amazing ever since he's been traded to the 49ers. Brock Purdy has stepped in really well. He seems to be completing a lot of his passes, very accurate, barely any mistakes. I think he's thrown 6 touchdowns to 1 interception. And this team shows no signs slowing down so far. I think they're going to make a good run in the playoffs.
Sam, I agree. I think the Niners, they have all the pieces on offense. They have probably the best defense in the league. And even though they're on a third-string quarterback, I feel like Kyle Shanahan deserves a lot of credit for what he's getting out of Purdy, for what he got out of Garoppolo, who a lot of people think are average quarterbacks. Kyle Shanahan makes them both look really good, and I think for that reason, I like the Niners versus anyone in the NFC.
Yeah, as far as Seattle goes, Matt, because I know you asked me about them too.
I did.
So they lost their top wide receiver, Tyler Lockett, this game. He fractured something in his back, so he's going to miss a couple weeks unless they do make the playoffs, then he can possibly come back.
Yeah.
As far as this team looks in general, they looked very undisciplined out there. It took a lot of penalties and caused a couple unforced errors, like the Travis Homer fumble that led to the 49ers touchdown that put them up 14-3 before the half.
Some right there.
This team is relying a lot on Geno Smith to make stuff happen. he's done a pretty good job, but if he doesn't have other people contributing, like a Kenneth Walker or one of these other running backs, like, this team's in trouble, man.
Do you think they'll make the playoffs?
They got a very tough test coming up against KC next week, so if they're able to pull that off, then I'd say so, but chances are unlikely.
Sam, I would agree with that point. Let's move on to our next game. Next game, Sam, we have the Minnesota Vikings coming back against the Indianapolis Colts 39-36. Sam, this was the biggest comeback in NFL history. The Colts were up 33-0. The Vikings came back, won in overtime. Sam, is this a positive or negative about the Vikings? Because we know the Colts are terrible. Does this say more good things about the Vikings or bad things?
I would say it's bad things. There was a lot of unforced errors, especially in the first half. I'll tell you a couple of them.
Okay.
Because I have them written down here. So they had a block punt return for a touchdown. They had a pick six, a fumble, and 2 turnover on downs. Matt, how many turnovers is that?
Say it again.
So I said they had a block punt return for a touchdown. They had a pick six. A fumble.
That's 3.
And 2 turnover on downs.
That's 5.
That's 5 errors
in
the first half alone.
That's fun in German, Sam.
That doesn't include the pick that Kirk threw in the second half to nobody. Remember when Jalen Reagor stopped running?
We watched that game.
We did.
We were eating Mexican food, eating it.
But, you know, this Vikings team, if they continue to do this kind of game scheme, going into the playoffs, when they need to win games that are going to be close, and, you know, you can't really turn the ball over, if they continue to do this, it doesn't serve them well at all. I mean, you know, 10 out of their 11 wins so far this season have come within 1 score. So they're playing a lot of close games, which means that they're turning the ball over a lot. And that's a recipe for losing football.
Sam, I think they're fucked. I mean, listen, if they weren't playing Matt Ryan, the biggest fucking choker I think I've ever seen, I mean, I'm sorry. That man's just got nothing downstairs. I mean, I'm sorry. You blow a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. I don't care how bad your defense plays. Fucking, you're the quarterback. Own up to it. Yep, 33-0. You think Tom Brady would ever blow a 33-0 lead? No, because Tom Brady's a man, and Matt Ryan is not a man. He's a fucking pussy, okay? He's a pencil neck fucking BC, one of these pressure situation. You can't trust him. And if they were playing any kind of good team, they would have lost. You play the Eagles or the Niners like this, you can get fucking smoked. I don't care how good Justin Jefferson is, Dalvin Cook. I don't believe in this Vikings team.
I got to say, another thing I'd like to add is the Colts, like Jeff Saturday as a coach, his coaching experience, like the lack of it, definitely showed in this one.
Oh, yeah, he's done.
That 4th and 1 play where they had Matt Ryan sneak it, that was probably one of the worst calls in football, because why would you have like your 40-year-old, out-of-shape quarterback trying to sneak the ball to get the first down when instead you could have ran a play like the Lions did the other day, like, you know, the trick play, Penei Sewell.
Oh, yeah.
You could have done something like that, or just, you know, power run, like an HB draw right up the gut, try to get it instead. But no, Matt Ryan just limped himself to the line of scrimmage, couldn't get the first down, and that ultimately cost them the game right there.
A lot of stupid teams. The Colts are one of them, Sam.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our next game. All right, Sam, next game, we got Dolphins-Bills. Sam, this was a great game. This was a snowy night in Buffalo. Saturday night, I know Sam was on his couch. He had the popcorn going, the hot chocolate, maybe a couple girls over too. Who knows what Sam was doing that night. But he was definitely watching the Bills-Dolphins. He was watching Josh Allen lead the Buffalo Bills to a big win over a division rival in the Miami Dolphins. Josh Allen got it done. They put up 32 points. Sam, Buffalo's rolling. Do you think they're the best team in the AFC, and are you concerned about the Dolphins?
So Buffalo is definitely one of the best teams in the AFC right now. They definitely showed that in this game because they got off to a good start early on, had a good commanding lead over this Dolphins team. However, they did blow it because the Dolphins went on a run, which ultimately led to an 8-point lead at the time. But then Josh Allen was able to come up with 2 clutch drives, giving the Bills a great chance to win the game, and ultimately they did down the stretch.
Yeah. Sam, I agree. I think Buffalo, because they had a little bit of hiccup in the middle of the season, I think they're rolling now. I think they're right there. I think between them, Kansas City, and Cincinnati, those 3 teams in the AFC, I think are all pretty even. I think any of those could win, and it may come down to home field. So this is a huge game for Buffalo. On the opposite end, Miami, led by Tua, I think they're on a 3-game losing streak. This one, though, I would chalk up as a more victory because Buffalo's one of the best teams in the league, and you just went into Buffalo. You hung with them. You took a lead late. I think Miami. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they're. I like where the direction the team and the organization is going.
Yeah. Another takeaway from this game as well is that Miami needs to be better when they get into the red zone. Stat that I found from this game was that Buffalo was 4 out of 5 in the red zone compared to Miami's 1 out of 3. So what that tells you is if they're able to convert more in the red zone, they're going to be better off going forward, especially come playoff time, because good teams are able to convert down in the red zone.
What's going to hurt Miami, too, Sam, is that's a warm weather team. They're going to have to go into Buffalo. They're going to have to go into Kansas City, these cold places, and play games, versus teams coming to them. Sam, you go to Miami. I mean, cocaine, hookers, you're partying with Pitbull. It distracts the other team. You know what I mean? That's a disadvantage for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
All right. Next game. All right, Sam. Well, man, we watched this. We're Patriots fans. The Patriots, they were up. The Raiders came back. Derek Carr let it drive. I think it was Keelan Cole. Caught a pass. He was clearly out of bounds. We reviewed it for about 12 minutes. They decided it was a touchdown. Pats kind of got screwed. Whatever. You move on. You keep playing. The game's not over, Sam. You keep going. It doesn't end. They make a bad call. You don't fucking cry about it. You keep playing. Well, the Patriots, they decided they were going to lateral Ramondre Stevenson, lateral to Jacoby Myers. He threw it right to Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones took one arm, put Mac Jones 10 feet underneath the fucking ground, took it for a touchdown. The Patriots lost. One of the worst losses I've ever seen. Their season's over. This was a must-win game if they want to make the playoffs. Sam, give it all to me. What do you think?
Well, Matt, I'm not going to sugarcoat this,
okay,
all right?
Don't.
I'm just going to say it how it is.
All right.
We suck. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this. This fucking team is the laughingstock of the league.
Go
up
off,
there
Sam.
with the Texans.
Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, you could just tell that fucking, drive when they ended up on the 1, ended up taking a 24-yard field goal. The fucking team is in shambles. Mac Jones is fed up with the fucking coaching staff. They have no idea what the hell is going on. They can't get the right personnel on the field. Like, it's time for a change, Matt. If there is any game that needed a change to happen, it's fucking this one.
Sam, should Bill Belichick be on the hot seat? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I hope they get fucking steamrolled by Cincy next
Me too.
week.
Fuck this team. I mean, Sam, this team is fucking stupid. Stupid with 2 fucking O's. I mean, this team is bad. I've never seen a Bill Belichick, because that's the one thing about Bill Belichick teams you hang your hat on. Even if they're not talented, they don't fuck up. They take what they're given. They don't, commit penalties. They're usually smart. This team's fucking stupid. I mean, they got a punt block. The special teams is fucking atrocious. This new guy, you see him with a little, chimp strap fucking beard. I don't know. I don't like he's wearing the fucking visor. This guy, this another tool bag. The Patriots are filled with tool bags. You got him, you got Matt Patricia, you got Joe Judge. They're filled with fucking yes men, wannabe tool bags who owe their fucking careers to Bill. They fucking jack off Bill every chance they get. And frankly, Sam, I don't like it. You need people in there who have some cachet of their own to tell you, no, Bill, this isn't a good idea. Let's do it this way. That was Josh McDaniels. He's on the Raiders now. The special teams is awful. They commit bad penalties. They commit bad mistakes. Frankly, they don't believe in Mac Jones. Belichick, after the game, a reporter asked him, why didn't you throw a Hail Mary in that situation? You know what you say in that situation? You say, we just didn't think of it. You don't throw your quarterback under the bus. That's what Belichick did. He goes, Mac didn't have the arm. It's clearly Mac doesn't like Bill. Clearly, Bill doesn't like Mac. There's a disconnect there, and it started when Bill Belichick hired Matt Patricia and Joe Judge to run the offense because they're inept idiots, and the whole team knew it. Everyone knew it. You knew it. I knew it. Even RJ fucking knew it. Everyone knew it wasn't going to work out, and it's fucking Belichick's fault. It starts with him. I agree, Sam. I think he should be on the hot seat. If they have another bad year next year, I would let him go. I'd try and get Sean Payton.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better
It's
myself.
embarrassing. I was at the gym, Sam, this morning. Guys were talking about it. They said, we suck. They say, we're a sorry-ass team.
I don't know why people say we're a good football team. This obviously shows that we're fucking terrible on both sides of the ball. I'll even say on defense, we had a couple of mistakes down the stretch.
Quick, Sam. Mac Jones, what do you think? You move on from him?
I say you stick with him.
Okay.
It's just we need a better coaching staff around him. Because how do you go from, offensive rookie of the year, like Mac Jones putting up great numbers, to taking a giant step backwards?
Chandler Jones, grab Mac Jones and fucking put him in the ground, Sam. I mean, he had bad intentions. You know what I mean? I mean, it was getting dirty for a second there with Chandler Jones.
Play should have never happened in the first place, if I'm being honest.
He grabbed Mac by the neck and...
The fucking players, Stevenson and Myers, have no fucking recognition of time management.
That was a bad mistake by
They had
Myers.
no fucking idea how much time was left on the clock. All you had to do was just go down if you're not going to, have a clear path that going into the end zone.
You do that if you're losing and you have no time left. If it's a tie, you play for overtime.
It was going to overtime. They just decided, oh, fuck, let's just throw the ball around. Little theatrics, Mickey Mouse Club going on.
I think it perfectly sums up this season and this team. Fucking stupid.
That's an understatement.
All right. Let's get in the next game. All right, Sam, to move on to a happier subject, not really. Buccaneers lost again. Seems to be a common trend this season. They were up, Sam, though, 17-0. I was like, all right, here we go. Tom's coming back. Tom's sticking it to everyone. That didn't happen. Joe Burrow came back. Bucs blew another game. Joe Burrow has huge stones. You could see him fuming on the sideline when they were down 7. You knew, like, when he got his chance, like, you didn't know if they were going to win, but you knew, like, Joe was going to come back and give the Bucs his best shot. They did. They came back. They won. What do you think?
I mean, the Bengals are just proven yet again why they're one of the best teams in the AFC. They're definitely going to win the North because the Ravens have no shot, especially with Lamar being out. That team is in shambles, but ever since Jamar Chase has gotten back, more teams have been trying to hone in on him, taking him away. But you got guys like Higgins and Boyd, and you got Mixon and P. Ryan stepping up, making plays, and Joe Burrow is finding ways to, elevate this team to new heights.
I think this game, Sam, tells us more of what we already know. It reinforces that the Bengals are legit Super Bowl threats. A lot of people thought they were going to fall off this year, but they haven't, and I think it's because, like you said, they have a lot of weapons, but mainly because Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback. He's a top 5 quarterback, and he just has stones, man. He's just locked in, and he's a good guy. Like, if I was in that locker room, I'd feel good about him as my quarterback, getting behind him. As for the Bucs, I mean, they suck. They play in the worst division, though, so they'll make the playoffs. I will be interested to see, though, because I think they could knock off Dallas. It's likely they're going to have Dallas first round. I mean, that game's going to be in Tampa Bay, and we know Dallas is... I mean, do you believe in Dak Prescott?
After yesterday, no.
No, of course not. So, the only I'm just sad to see Tom sad. He got divorced. I mean, I'm sure he's doing fine. I'm sure he's like fucking tens, already, but...
He should have retired, Matt. He should have went out on top. He should have retired after he won the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, but, like... It's showing. His team doesn't want to play for him, as you could tell. He's fed up with the coaches, and the players aren't really buying into what he has because, the Tom Brady mentality is the win-first mentality. And as you can tell in this game, he was very frustrated. He threw 2 picks, had 2 fumbles. He just doesn't look like the same Tom Brady that we're used to.
Remember when he made out with his son on his show? That was weird, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why they showed that. We didn't need to see that.
That was weird. All right. That's it for these NFL games of the week. We're going to turn to everyone's favorite segment. I lost my house last week, Sam, so you better fucking be good this week. Let's turn it over to Sam Reed for Best Bets.
Well, everyone, welcome back to Best Bets. This is a segment in which I look ahead to next week's slate of games and pick 3 best bets that I think have the most value. Here's how we stand after last week's slate of games. Our record is 2-6-1. Unfortunately, we have not been well over the last 6 games. We are 0-5-1, which is the epitome of a losing record right there. And I would like to formally apologize for what has happened over these last 2 weeks. I am in no means a professional handicapper, so if you do tail my picks, I am really sorry for what has come over the last 2 weeks. All right? I promise, I didn't shave today. I spent the past 2 nights, I didn't sleep at all. I've been doing the research. I've cried every night. I've worked hard for this, and I got 3 picks, because it's the holiday season, and I know a lot of you have spent a lot of time and effort tailing my picks. So I'm sure these 3 picks are going to pan out this week, okay? All right, let's get into it. My first best bet of the week and my lock for this week is the Jaguars against the Jets on the money line, minus 110 according to Caesars Sportsbook, which is 1.1 to 1 or $11 to win 10. So the reason why I like this pick is because Trevor Lawrence and the Jags have won 3 of their last 4 games. They're putting up nearly 30 points per game, which is incredible. You're not really going to lose a lot of games if you're putting up 30 points per game. This Jets team, they decided to go back to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is arguably the worst starting QB in the NFL. He is tied for 31st in terms of touchdowns thrown. He has the 6th most interceptions thrown this year. He is one of the least rated QBs in the NFL this year so far as well. They arguably don't stand a chance. Even though their defense is one of the best in the NFL, they are a top 10 rated defense. I just feel this Jags team is just going to come in there and just turn this defense into Swiss cheese, especially after what they did to Dallas this past Sunday. Now, my second best bet for Week 16 is the over in the Seahawks-Chiefs game. Over 49 points is minus 110 odds, 1.1 to 1, $11 to win 10. Now, the reason why I like this play is because I don't really like a side in this game. You know, the Chiefs are 2-2 with larger spreads of 7 points or more at home. And the Seahawks, they've been playing relatively close games, but I just don't feel like they could possibly win this game, better yet cover 10 points in this game. So I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to take the points because both these teams are top 10 in terms of points allowed this year. The Seattle Seahawks rank 4th worst in the league, giving up nearly 24 points per game, and the Chiefs rank 10th worst in the league, giving up 23 points per game. So what that means is that these teams, you know, they're not very good on the defensive side of the ball, but in terms of the offensive side of the ball, they do score a lot of points. So that is what I'm seeing in this game. It's going to be a great 1 p.m. game. I can see this being very high scoring, and this is the case because the Chiefs in the last 3 games, if they had this over 49 points, they would have hit them by an average of 7 points. And in Seattle's last 4 games, the over would have hit in 3 out of the last 4. So I'd say this is a great play. So I would definitely hammer this bet. Now my third and final best bet of Week 16 of the NFL slate is the 49ers minus 7 at minus 110 odds, which is 1.1 to 1 or $11 to win 10. Now the reason why I like this play so far, as I discussed with Matt earlier, this 49ers defense is legit. They've allowed nearly 11 points per game over the last 7 games, which is incredible. They've averaged nearly 27 points per game, and that's another incredible feat as well. This Commanders team that they're going up against doesn't really stand a chance. They're a very run-heavy team. The 49ers are one of the best rush defenses in the league, giving up nearly 75 rushing yards per game. So if the 49ers are either to clamp down on this Russian team, then I think they stand a good chance at covering the points this week. All right, everyone. Well, this is it for best bets. Hopefully we can actually have a winning record this week, and hopefully nobody loses their house again this week by betting on my picks. Once again, I am no means a professional handicapper, so please only bet certain amounts that you can actually afford to lose. But without further ado, let's turn it over to Matt and Sweet and Sour and the final word.
Thank you, Sam. I hope it goes better. My daughter's not going to college anymore because of your bets. So, let's hope it goes better. She's not going to college. That's on you. All right, let's get into Sweet and Sour fantasy football. My number 3 sweet this week. I don't know why I sound like John Gruden. David Montgomery. He's sweet this week. David Montgomery has been rolling ever since Khalil Herbert got hurt. Before Herbert got hurt, he was doing so-so. He had a good game, bad game, kind of go back and forth. Ever since Khalil Herbert's been out of the lineup, David Montgomery's been eating. The Bears run the ball more than any other team in the league between Montgomery and Justin Fields. Montgomery's been doing very well. He's been getting red zone looks in the passing game, and he usually gets going later in the season. That year, he really popped off. It was the last 4 or 5 games of the season. He started to do well. Even with Herbert coming back, I really like Montgomery down the stretch for your fantasy football playoffs. And my number 3 sour this week is Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has not been good since Deshaun Watson came back. He started off the season really hot, was getting a lot of touchdowns, and Amari Cooper was throwing a dud every once in a while. It's just what he's done throughout his career. But Deshaun Watson has played in 3 games, and in those 3 games, Amari Cooper has done nothing. He hasn't had a touchdown in 5 weeks. That could change. Amari Cooper is one of those guys who could pop off one week, throw out a random 30-point game. But overall, going forward, if you have any other options, I would play them over Amari Cooper for fantasy football playoffs. He's very unpredictable and has been bad lately. My number 2 sweet this week is Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin was hurt to begin the season. He was kind of in and out of the lineup. He was kind of teetering fantasy production-wise. Well, since he's gotten healthy, especially the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been doing really well. Even though the Bucs offense hasn't been the best, Chris Godwin has been Brady's go-to guy over Mike Evans. Godwin gets a lot of targets. He's getting high-digit targets. A couple weeks ago with 13 targets in a game. If you're in a PPR format, you should feel really good about Chris Godwin playing. Even if you're not, you could still get you a decent amount. He's not a touchdown guy. If he gets a touchdown, it's kind of a bonus, but you should feel good about playing Godwin going forward. My number 2 sour this week is Jamal Williams. Not really his fault. He was doing well this season with DeAndre Swift out of the lineup, and even when Swift came back, he was still doing well because they were kind of easing him back in. And Jamal Williams is still the goal line back. He still gets a lot of the red zone touches, but he's goal line dependent. If he doesn't get a touchdown, he's not really producing. The last 2 weeks, he doesn't have touchdowns, so he's had about 3-4 points those weeks. He's goal line, touchdown dependent, and for that reason, I don't feel good about playing him in your fantasy football playoffs. I would lean to any other options if you have them. My number 1 sweet this week is Kirk Cousins. Now, I know what you're thinking. Quarterback, that's kind of easy. The reason I went with Kirk Cousins is because he's not an obvious quarterback. If I told you Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, those ones are obvious, easy ones. You can play Kirk Cousins in your fantasy football playoffs if you're in need of a quarterback. Maybe if Lamar Jackson's hurt or whoever you have isn't doing well, Justin Herbert, and feel good about Kirk Cousins. He's been eating all season. He really had one dud week against the Cowboys, but that was kind of a one-off weird game. They even pulled him. It got so out of hand. He had over 40 fantasy points this week. The Vikings throw a lot. They want to throw. They want to get the ball to Jefferson, Thielen, Hawkinson, all their playmakers. You can feel they play in a dome. You can feel really good about Kirk Cousins as your fantasy football quarterback this playoffs. My number 1 sour this week is Jacoby Myers. Again, not like an obvious guy, not a high draft value guy. I kind of did all those last week. But for a while, Jacoby Myers was kind of balling. A lot of it was with Bailey Zappi, granted. But he was, especially in PPR formats, he was getting 15, 16, 17 points per week. That has not been happening lately. Ever since Mac Jones kind of came back for the starting job, Jacoby Myers has tailed off. He's never been a touchdown guy. He's always been reception dependent. The last couple of weeks, he doesn't have a lot of receptions. He had one really big play this week. He obviously fucked up this week, so I don't think he's going to be in the graces of the coaches. If you have Jacoby Myers, I would under no circumstances play him for your fantasy football playoffs. And that's all we got this week. That'll wrap up Sideline. That'll wrap up the show. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment while you're lighting the menorah this week, while you're playing dreidel, you're spinning the dreidel, you're eating your matzo ball soup. Throw on some Sideline. Throw on some Movie Mob. Movie Mob will be back every Friday, 6 p.m. This is dropping tonight, Monday, 8 p.m. Happy Hanukkah. Shalom.